is she? Benedict roared as he drove the electric cattle prod into Agent Rivas's upper thigh, causing but little that was in Joseph's bladder to release onto himself. Benedict sneered at the smell, but remained where he was as he looked down at the sorry lump of human confined to the metal chair in the middle of the room.
Fuck you.
Benedict's fists connected to Joseph's face, bursting the swollen cheek in an eruption of blood. Joseph's head snapped back, then lulled to the side as his eyes fluttered from the impact. Behind Benedict, the Shadow Man lifted a hand and pressed his earpiece closer, then cleared his throat. "Sir, the doctor has arrived." The gruesome scowl blossomed to delight as Benedict removed his pocket handkerchief and wiped his hands. "Excellent. I'm terribly impatient with Agent Rivas here, and was about to dispose of him." Turning, Benedict strode towards the large doors to meet the doctor as she descended the stairs from the helicopter landing, his arms outstretched in greeting. "Ah, my darling. I appreciate your haste."
"I am yours to summon."
Together, they returned to the room where Joseph sat limply, breathing heavily, a puddle of fluids encircling his chair.
"Oh dear."
The doctor clucked her tongue before placing her bag on the ground and striding towards Joseph, pulling on his eyelids and reaching under his jaw for a pulse. I know. Benedict held up his hands in mock, pleading as he grinned at his work. "I would have waited for you, but I wanted to see what could be done while we waited."
"And did you get anything?"
The doctor turned, an eyebrow arched. "Unfortunately, very little," Benedict conceded, frowning. He looked back at Joseph, and his eyes veiled in darkness as his temper flared. The doctor carefully stepped between Benedict and Joseph, breaking his glare.
"These ones we are after are not the usual type. They are higher level and will not break under pain or fear of death. I warned you of this. The CIA trains them using cognitive separation protocols, and the more trauma they endure prior to my technique, the longer it takes for me to level their minds for questioning. This is a delicate process, Benedict."
Gently, the doctor took Benedict by the hand and led him to the door, the Shadow Man following close behind.
"Allow me 15 minutes to prepare him, then you shall have your answers. I believe a fresh coffee will be best to occupy your time while you wait. You'll see to him, won't you?"
The doctor turned and looked back at the Shadow Man, who nodded tightly, but waited for Benedict before moving. "You all right as always, my darling, but let's have him ready in 10 minutes. I have already waited long enough, as you know." Benedict's dark eyes held the doctor's.
"He will be ready in 10 minutes.
The doctor swallowed, nodding in curiosity, before returning to her black bag and removing various items for her craft. Benedict jerked his head, and the guards vacated the room, preceding him as he strode towards the furnished office down the hall. Stopping at the wooden doorway, Benedict turned to look back towards the interrogation chamber. Agent Rivas spoke of the woman with certain special abilities, the ones we've heard mentioned before by some of the previous captives. She's the one responsible for the disruptions to our operations. I can feel it. He said she was gone, transferred, but he didn't know where. The Shadow Man's voice was a deep rumble, echoing down the cement corridor, even in his hushed tone. Find out what he knows about her. Where is she likely to have gone? I want her alive. With the doctor's help. I can only imagine how useful a person like that would be in my possession, but we need to do it soon. We are almost ready. And Agent Rivas? Get what I want, then dispose of him. But make sure it hurts. I don't like the way he spoke to me. His tongue will go nicely in my collection, and I'm sure his employer and family would like a piece as well. The Shadow Man grinned, straightening and flexing his fingers as he spoke. We have someone inside every base and every major intelligence agency in the world reporting to you, both government and private. It is only a matter of time before we find her. Benedict nodded to the Shadow Man and opened the door to his office, speaking over his shoulder. I leave you to it then, so that way I can attend more pleasant matters. Inside the room, the sound of chains clinked lightly, and a soft, followed by a pained, huffed breath as someone rose to their feet. My dear, I apologize for keeping you waiting, but I do so find our activities deserving of an encore. Don't you think? Especially after what I've done to your partner. Benedict's voice broke off as the door clicked shut. The Shadow Man strode down the hall towards the doctor and Agent Rivas as the sound of a woman's muffled screaming filled the space, drowning out the scuff of his long gait. The Shadow Man's grin broadened, and he reached into his inside breast pocket to remove his favorite blade.